Hey, welcome back to Bobb-z Callahan's Word of Advice. And for this video, I wanted to talk about a rather interesting topic, and at least I want to talk about my point of view when it comes to the whole deal with crying. Yes, I know that is probably not the most happy topic that I could ever talk about, but I feel like this is a topic which is worthy of putting out there because, number one, I did not include it in the original series of Bobb-z Callahan's Word of Advice, and number two, I do believe that in every person's life there are going to be those days where you are going through something really heartbreaking. Perhaps you got in a huge argument with a friend, now they're not talking to you, or perhaps you have a pet and that pet just died, or maybe somebody in your family has just died. Whatever example you can think of. I do believe there are going to be those days when we're just feeling very heartbroken and we feel really, really sad. And we may feel like we're going to cry. Believe me, I've been there, and I think I've heard both sides when it comes to the whole topic of expressing your emotions and crying. You know, I've heard people say, don't cry in public, and I've heard other people say, it's okay, let your emotions come out. If you were to ask me which is better, I would say it really is okay to cry. You know, it is good to express our emotions, even when we're sad, and it is much healthier than bottling up our emotions. You know, I went through a phase in my life where I bottled up my emotions, and I bottled up my emotions when I wanted to cry, and it just made me feel a lot worse. And over time I started to realize, hey, I don't see any harm in crying. I mean, we're all going to go through a bad day, and there's nothing illegal about somebody crying. It may not be the cool thing to some people in the world, but, you know, if I'm going through something heartbreaking, then I have a right to express my emotions. You know, I can frown. I can honestly be a little depressed for a little bit, or I can cry if I'm really about to cry. And of course, I've gotten through these hard times, and I'm glad I've been able to be happy again, but, you know, part of that whole journey included me going through a tough time and actually crying for a little bit. And over time I have felt no shame in crying. I believe if there is a time when you're going through something really heartbreaking, and, you know, as I said, if it's maybe the death of a pet or a family member, or if you're going through a big argument with somebody, whatever you're going through, when you are going through something really difficult and you feel like you're going to cry, if you ask me, I say that there is no shame in crying. And of course, when you're going through a difficult situation, I certainly hope that you are able to find a healthy way to overcome it, and you'll be able to reach that point where you'll be happy again. But during that time when you're going through something difficult, I do believe it is okay to cry. I've been there, done it before, and I've felt no shame in crying. And I don't think about what some of those people have to say when they think, oh yeah, you know, it's not manly for you to cry, or, you know, strong people don't cry. I just forget it. I think every person has cried in their entire life at one point or another, and every person is going to at some point, no matter what they feel on the topic of crying. So, yeah, I know this has not been the happiest topic that I could ever talk about, but I do believe it was worth mentioning, since I didn't include it in my original series of Word of Advice videos, and also since this is something that we all will probably do at one point or another in our lives, is cry. So I certainly hope what I've had to talk about in this video will come in handy. Come back for another word of advice video very soon.